Section 2.7, Solving Equations with Decimals. Solving decimal equations is the same as regular equations. You use inverse operations to solve them, but you just make sure that you line up the decimal point before adding and subtracting. For example, x plus 2.7 equals negative 3.5. We want to find out what x is, so we take the number that is with the x on that side of the equal sign. In this case, it is positive 2.7. The inverse operation is to subtract 2.7, and we do that from both sides. That cancels out the positive 2.7 and leaves the x. Then we're left with negative 3.5 and negative 2.7. They are the same sign, so we add and keep. I've lined up the decimal, so I am adding the 5 plus the 7, which is 12. 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 1 is 6, and bring down the decimal. We added, and then we keep the sign, which is the negative. The answer is x equals negative 6.2. Y minus 6.91 equals 2.26. We want to find out what the y is and get it by itself. And we are left with the negative 6.91 that we need to find the inverse operation for. The inverse operation is to add 6.91, and we do that to both sides. This cancels out the negative 6.91 and leaves us with y. Then we have a positive 2.26 plus 6.91. I've lined up the decimal, and we just add it. 6 plus 1 is 7, 9 plus 2 is 11, 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and bring down the decimal. They are both positive, so the answer is positive, and the answer is y equals 9.17. X minus 3.8 equals 9. We want to find out what x is, and we need to get rid of that minus 3.8. The inverse operation is a positive 3.8, and we do that to both sides. That'll cancel out the negative 3.8 and leave the x. The 9, we would put the decimal after it since it is a whole number, and we can add a 0 to add. 0 plus 8 is 8. I'll bring down the decimal right away, and then 9 plus 3 is 12. They're both positive, so our answer is positive, and the answer is x equals 12.8. Negative 2.75 equals x plus 1.06. Again, we are looking for just x, so we need to take whatever is with the x. Right now it is a plus 1.06. The inverse operation would be to subtract 1.06, and we do that from both sides. That cancels out the positive 1.06, and leaves an x. Now we have a negative 2.75 and a negative 1.06. They are the same signs, so you're going to add and keep. 5 plus 6 is 11. 7 plus 1 is 8. Bring down the decimal. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then you keep the sign. I'm going to rewrite it so the x is in the front. X equals negative 3.81 is your answer. R minus 0.88 equals negative 22.3. We need to find out just what the r is, so we take away anything that is next to it on that side of the equal sign. Now it is a negative 0.88. The inverse operation is to add a 0.88, and we're going to do that to both sides. That cancels out the negative 0.88 and leaves us with just r. Now we're left with negative 22.3, and I'll add a 0 so that we are lining up our decimals. And we have a positive 0.88. They're different signs, so we need to subtract. Remember, this is important that we added the 0, because now we're going to subtract a 0 minus 8 and have to borrow from the 3. 10 minus 8 is 2. Then we need to borrow from this 2 to make it 12 minus 8, which is 4. We bring down the decimal. 1 minus 0 is 1, and 2 minus 0 is 2. We take the sign of the larger number, which was the negative 22.3, and we keep it negative. Your answer is negative 21.42.